Is returning to Kansas City. We're talking about Titanic. This is its second time at Union Station. Lowell Lytle, better known as Captain Smith, has been out at the wreckage site and had the chance to look through the wreckage. He is here in our studio to tell us more about the exhibit that's going to be at Union Station. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Yeah, so tell us about going down to the wreckage and what that was like.
Well, can you imagine getting into a little submarine with two other people? You're going 2.5 miles down. And you're there. You're jammed in that little sub for 12 hours, and there's no place to walk around. You're just there. And then when you look through that little port light and you see the Titanic coming up, it's just an amazing event. I went right over the bow where they held out their arms in the movies, and I'm the king of the world.
Yeah. Was it an eerie feeling?
Yes, very eerie. I felt lonely, I felt depressed, I felt excited. Every emotion that could go through a person's body went through mine. But my job was to pick up artifacts. And the artifacts that are in this exhibition, it just tells the story about the people.
What are some of the artifacts for those interested in going to Union Station that they may see?
Well, one of the things that I liked was the bell. The one that they rang and said, "Iceberg right ahead."
Oh, wow.
And the whistle, that's quite unique. I think those you'll find interesting. But the main thing is when you go in, you will receive a boarding pass with the name of a passenger or a crew member, and you will assume that character as you look at these different items. And they all come alive because they tell a story. I can't think of a better way to honor those 1,500 souls than to tell their stories. And that's what we do through this exhibition.
How many things are going to be out there at Union Station? Are we talking about a couple hundred?
We're talking through 300 items from the ocean floor. It's amazing. I think the most amazing part to me is when you go to that memorial board and you look on your boarding pass and see if that person that you identified with whether they survived or not. And I've seen different reactions from people. I've seen them burst into tears, said I didn't make it. I've seen other people jump up and down, said I made it, you know.
Yeah. It's amazing because this is 100 years later.
Yes.
And yet it is still one of those stories in history that fascinates so many generations.
It just won't leave. I don't know. People ask me all the time, why is it that everyone's so interested in the Titanic after all these years? And I think you probably put it together. It's the largest man-made moving object ever built, the most luxurious ship ever built, the wealthiest people in the world and the poorest people, and they all meet together in one climactic moment. And you have 2 hours and 40 minutes to think what you're going to do. And I think people, when they go through this exhibition, will have a chance to think about what they might do as they look at some of the dishes and so forth.
Perfect.
To see whether or not they would have eaten off the third or first class, you know.
It will be interesting. Thank you, Captain Smith. We appreciate it. And the exhibit opens March 3rd, right around the corner at Union Station. Something you may want to check out. It looks like it's going to be interesting.